Alright, last but not least, wrap up where I left off. Just the final part of what I wanted to cover is about the payback part. And like I said from the last video segment, is in Revelation 18. Come out of her, my people. God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she is given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Give her as much torture and grief. Pay her back double for what she done unto you. Talking about what this country done unto God's people. Say give her back. Give her as much torture and grief. It said give her as much torture and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. So give her as much torture and grief as she has given you in the process of gaining glory and luxury for herself. Because this country gained glory and luxury through torture and grief. By the Romans, the Europeans, etc., the Spanish conquistadors coming, torturing the Indian tribes over here and torturing the African tribes, causing grief amongst them, which led to it was right on the tip of my tongue. I'm going with it. Yeah, the Trail of Tears, which led to the Trail of Tears with the Indians going down south from Oklahoma, because there was a lot of Indian territory in Oklahoma and Arkansas, etc. A lot of Indian territory in the west of this country. Really, this entire nation was Indian territory. This entire nation. But that's what led to the Trail of Tears. That's part of the grief that they suffered. That's part of the grief as far as the blacks. My ancestors suffered really on the Indian end and the African. But yeah. So this is what it's give her as much torture and grief. So that's what's going on. So for those of you who still trying to figure it out, why is it blacks tearing up neighborhoods? You see, every time you go to a black neighborhood, they got it all torn up. See, that black neighborhood was previously a white neighborhood. And see, I ain't trying to make it a segregation in the black and white thing, but teaching the truth accurately and precise. So, like I said, blacks, you got the blacks who trying to live right, trying to do right, and they trying to have, a piece of paradise. Then, when them 2 or 3 blacks move in that predominantly white neighborhood, the value of the houses started to go down because of the blacks moving there. So it's like, the value starting to go down, and the more blacks move into a predominantly white neighborhood, the more the value of that neighborhood starts to go down. See, so when you got your ruthless folks start to move up in there, that neighborhood, and tear it up, that caused a majority of the whites to migrate somewhere else, a lot better than what they previously had. And you have also blacks who migrate to try to follow them because they like, we want to live better too, in spite of our ignorant brothers and sisters who vandalizing the place. But that goes back to give her back as she has done unto you in torture and grief. So you see a whole lot of grief amongst the blacks and the Mexicans, just like what's going on in Mexico. And the Mexicans coming over here and terrorizing and breaking in cars, robbing and stealing, etc., along with the blacks. So this is the 12 tribes of Israel paying this country back for what was done under them. This is the payback. So this is why you see terrorizing amongst blacks and Indians in this country. And that's why the crime rate is increasing amongst blacks and Indians in this country. That's why you see mostly blacks and Indians in the prison houses, because that's also prophecy. So blacks and Indians terrorizing this country, causing all the crimes and the chaos. the majority, that's who causing the crimes and the chaos. It's a small percentage of white, but mostly blacks and Indians is tearing up the place. And this goes back to the prophecy of the Father of the Most High, who says, Revelation 18:6, give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Mix her a double portion from her own cup. So that robbing and raping and killing and stealing that happened with the Romans and the Europeans, and when they came and invaded over on this land and invaded in Africa, it's a double portion getting mixed up today as I speak over here in this land. And it's that double is happening. Like, that's why the crime rate steady increasing. It says give her as much torture and grief, and you have a lot of torture that's going on over here. As you see in Mexico, they beheading and cutting people heads off. Right here in America, you see a lot of gang violence with gang leaders cutting off ex-members' heads and putting them on the stick to send a message. So yeah, torture and grief, and okay, it's all here, people. So I'm trying put it all in one scoop, make sure I don't run out of time again, but that's what that means. Give her back as she has done to you. And indeed, that's why all the robbing, the raping, etc. is going on between blacks and Indians, and that's why they filling up the prison houses, because they giving back to this country as what was given to them. So that's why they going to commit crimes, robbing and raping and all that stuff, because it's like it's an inherited mentality, because it happened amongst blacks and Indians. The Indians inherited that mentality of robbing and stealing and killing from their enemies, from their adversaries. So covering that, that's pretty much what I'm gonna leave it at. I'm kind of rolling into my sleep time, but hey, I guess the Father putting this in me to keep going and share this message. So I just wanted to cover about the curse and cover about the revenge. So next time you watch news and black folk getting out of hand, Mexicans getting out of hand, you know why. Pay her back. Pay her back. This is what the Most High or the Father says in Revelation 18. Pay her back. Pay her back. Do what she has done to you. And that's why the crime rate is off the charts amongst the blacks and Indians, because that's the payback. So it's like, just like you came over and terrorized our villages, you came in our villages and you broke in our villages, burnt our villages down. That's why you got a lot of arsonists over in California, see? And what you got a lot of arsonists in California. And who are mostly in California? Who's mostly in California? You see a lot of Mexicans. Wow. And they arsonists. They burning up and tearing up the place. Whoa, okay. So just like the villages in Africa got destroyed, and the villages over in America by the Europeans and the French and the British, etc., the villages or the neighborhoods in America are getting destroyed by the people who was victims of the Holocaust. So the black and Indians turning in a double dragon, tearing up the place. I'm out. I'll leave it at that, and I'm finna go give me some rest so I can get ready for round 2 of my other jobs. So to wrap up this series, or a little short minute series, peace be unto you, shalom, and Christ for life.